If you've ever wanted a practical, accessible, and fun to drive electric vehicle, but you value the finer things in life, well, the BYD Seagull might be the right car for you. Welcome to the garage on Ride By, and today's first ride review, we have none other than the BYD Seagull. So the Seagull is BYD's most entry-level offering in its entire global lineup, and it's also the smallest vehicle to bear the BYD badge. So we are looking at a very small hatchback with a length of 4.7 meters, a height of 1.5 meters, a width of 1.7 meters, and a wheelbase of 2.5 meters. So now ground clearance on this car is not much. It's 120 millimeters, making it strictly a city and pavement hatchback. Under the hood is a single electric motor which produces 74 horsepower and 135 Nm of torque. So similar siya sa Mitsubishi Mirage, which makes 78 horsepower, but it's important to note that the mere fact na electric motor ito means instantaneous yung kanyang throttle response, and with sport mode coming in as standard, mas masarap talaga siya pag-accelerate, mas mabilis yung kanyang acceleration. So let's take a look at this car's styling. So up front and on the side, we can see trademark BYD styling here. You get nice LED headlights that are actually very bright, no? Yung kanyang beam is wide yung tapon, tapos clean cut yung beam niya when it's on low beam. And yeah, moving on to the side, you get some crossover inspired styling in the form of this body cladding over here, which extends down to the side of the vehicle. So here naman, the car rolls on 16-inch wheels, front and back. So these are Ling Long tires, which are a Chinese brand of tires. They measure in at 175/55 R16. So 55 series tires, medyo, at least it's a little bit thicker. And you'll notice later on when you talk about the ride quality na it's tuned to be more comfortable and more forgiving when it comes to less than ideal road conditions. So let's move on to the back to take a look at the styling some more. Okay, so the sporty styling continues here at the back, where you get this single piece taillight here that flows from left to right. It's LED also, and the style here at the back sort of reminds me of Pikachu, no? Kasi parang ito yung tenga niya, di ba? And the black and the yellow, green-yellow accents kind of remind me of Pikachu. This is a plastic piece here at the bottom of the bumper, giving it a more rugged, sporty look as well. So yeah, there's really not much to talk about when it comes to styling of the BYD Seagull because it is a small hatchback. But when we go inside, there are quite a lot of things that we can talk about. So let's do just that. Okay, moving on to the inside of the BYD Seagull. So remember that the Seagull is part of BYD's Ocean series, which, as the name suggests, means that the styling of the vehicle is inspired by, well, the ocean. And dito kita natin yung dashboard. It has a lot of flowing lines, which BYD says mimics the flowing motion of the water. So here, this blue accent here is a soft touch material. And you get BYD's signature rotating touchscreen display. So, well, because it's on Apple CarPlay, it's not rotatable. Pero now, yan, nag-rotate siya. So that's something that is very nifty and a nice gimmick for you to show your friends and your family. But if you are using your phone mirroring software, you are going to be required to leave it on landscape mode. So interior-wise, one thing you will notice about the Seagull is maganda yung interior niya compared to the other vehicles in its segment. You get a lot of soft touch materials here. On the dashboard, you get a leather-wrapped steering wheel, as well as, I believe this is leather-wrapped upholstery here on the door cards, as well on the seats themselves. Here on the center console, the center armrest, you have two cup holders, and also this synthetic leather material that wraps nice around here. You get a wireless charging pad, which is also one of the few cars in this price bracket that has this wireless charger. And of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So down here, you get your controls, you get your drive selector, which at first, kung hindi ka sanay, you'll struggle to find actually where is the drive selector of the Seagull. It's here integrated into the climate control and the hazard switch. So it's here, reverse neutral drive, and the park button is here off to the side. So like all modern cars today, the aircon, the climate controls, is nakakontrol through the screen. So you have to tap this climate control button here, tas lalabas siya. You can actually choose where the air will flow, if that's to the windshield, to the driver, or down on the footwell. You can adjust the fan speed here through the touchscreen as well as the temperature. So that's something that we just have to accept. Na ganun talaga lahat ng modern cars. Wala na sila masyadong physical buttons. The physical buttons all they do here is to turn on and off the fan and turn on and off the aircon. The steering wheel here, sporty steering wheel, leather wrapped with yellow stitching, which is matching with the body color of the car, which is something I like very much. You get your basic controls. You get cruise control here on the left side. You get your audio controls here on the right side. The car also comes with drive modes. So apart from the drive selector, when you're on drive, you can choose two modes. There's eco mode and sport mode. So what that does is, on eco mode, mas mahina yung kanyang regenerative braking and the throttle response is a little bit neutered. Pero once you want a little bit more fun, more engaging driving dynamics, just flick this button over here and it goes into sport mode. You have a sharper throttle response and a little bit more aggressive regenerative braking for when you're driving in the twisties or going up and down the mountains. But speaking of regenerative braking, that is also adjustable along with a lot of other features of this car. So all you have to do is press the menu here, home, and then toggle to settings, which can be found over here. And if you go here to energy, kita natin we can adjust the regenerative braking. So right now we have it set to high para we're not really stepping on the brake too much and we are charging the battery as we're driving every now and then. So the charge and discharge, you can immobilize the charging port. And of course, there's also a smart charging setup here wherein you can optimize the charging for when you usually charge the car. So energy consumption just gives you a graph of this, where you're going to nerd out a bit of how much energy you're using as you are driving along. So let's look at other settings here. So the vehicle, as with all BYD cars, napaka-extensive ng kanyang adjustability. So I'm not gonna go into that into too much detail because we've already done it so many times before with all the other BYD cars we've talked about. But here in the middle, you will notice that it's a small instrument cluster. It shows you the basics, it shows you your speed, it shows you how much battery you've got left. And it's a nice full color display, parang siyang motorsiklo. And it reminds me of like the TFT displays you find on most modern day motorcycles. So right now we are at 47% state of charge. This car comes with a not so big battery. It's on a full charge, BYD claims around 300 kilometers. Realistically speaking, if you're really enjoying the performance and the snappiness of this electric powertrain, you're probably looking at 270 kilometers. Okay, so as for the seating position, it's typical of your usual subcompact or small hatchback. So you have a very upright, commanding position. And the seats, in this car, they have this leatherette upholstery, I believe. Very nice bolstering here at the lower back and nice positioning where you can adjust the recline of the seat forward and back, but there is no height adjustment. Pero pwede mo siya forward and back also. The steering wheel adjusts up and down, but it does not telescope, which is okay lang kasi the cockpit is already compact to begin with. Pero comfort-wise, okay talaga siya. You can go for multiple hours inside this car and still be perfectly comfortable. So let's take a look at the back naman. So it is a small car, as I mentioned. The length is only 3.7 meters. And despite that, BYD really did a good job of making this interior extremely spacious. Because as you can see, I'm seated here with a relative slouch. I still have a lot of leg room. And of course, I have a ton of headroom over here. It's a very nice place to be in. I believe you could sit here for a multiple hour long journey and still be very comfortable. That said, though, there are no aircon vents at the back. There are no charger ports here. There's kahit cup holder, wala. Pero there is this weird space here, maybe for you to put your device, your phone, your wallet. Pero for a flask like this, there's no place in the entire car where you can keep this. So you're either gonna have to get one of those pouches where you can strap it here to the back or just put it in your bag. And important note, the BYD Seagull is a 4-seater only. There is no headrest in the middle and there are no seat belts in the middle. Only 2 seat belts here that go across like so. Pero wala siyang seat belt sa gitna for a third passenger at the back. So it is strictly a 4-seater. Nonetheless, it's very comfortable, a lot of legroom and a lot of headroom. Let's take a look at the cargo space. Okay, so opening the rear hatch, there's a button here. Hindi pala siya power assist. So yeah, it's a small car, no need for power assist tailgate. So it's nice and spacious in here. As you can see, medyo marami kaming karga. Even with the rear seats up like this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bags plus an umbrella and a camping chair. So that's very cool. One thing to note that this car does have a V2L adapter. Later we'll show you guys how that works. It also has a charger on board, but it's also compatible with your usual Type 2 charging systems which you can find in the mall. So now the seats can be folded down if you want to carry bigger things like a golf bag and maybe a few maletas. You just have to do it in a way na, kasi hindi siya 60-40, no? So kailangan medyo coordinated ka. You pull these two tabs at the same time. Make sure the headrests are pushed down, no? Pull the two tabs at the same time and simply push. And the seat just tumbles forward, straight down. It's not perfectly flat, so the stuff that you put there will eventually roll back. Pero kung mas malaki yung mga karga mong gamit, let's say maleta, balikbayan box na maliit, or maybe even a folding bicycle, it's more than enough space for all those things. So now we've talked about the interior, the exterior, and the styling, and the interior amenities of this car. Let's get behind the wheel and go for a drive. So guys, we are behind the wheel of the BYD Seagull, and this car is BYD's entry-level offering in its entire lineup. So siya yung pinaka-affordable, pinaka-murang electric car ng BYD. So what makes it special, no? So it is a compact compact hatchback style electric vehicle with crossover-inspired styling. So it's very small, very compact, and as a result, it's very easy to drive. So right now we are here driving in the undulating roads of. Very easy to drive, very manageable for both beginner drivers and maybe someone who's looking for a more practical and compact vehicle as a second or maybe a third car. So also for parents out there who have children who are learning how to drive, this could be the perfect platform to start learning how to drive on. Especially it's medyo future focused siya because it's an electric vehicle. So some things to know about the BYD Seagull is that it's powered by a front-mounted electric motor. It produces more power than what you would usually expect from a car of this size in the EV segment. It makes 74 horsepower and around 135 Newton meters of torque. So if you guys remember the car that we reviewed the last time, which is the JME V2, this makes more than double the horsepower and almost double the torque. So a lot more grunt from this electric motor compared to other electric vehicles. And as you can see, the response is pretty good, surprisingly good. I'd compare the response and the performance more of like a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated hatchback. So mabilis yung takbo niya. It can easily go above 100 kilometers per hour, no sweat. And the handling, typical of BYD, the handling feels very easy. Very light yung steering wheel, which is good for city driving. Pero once you pick up a bit of speed, you're gonna want to be a bit careful with your inputs to the steering kasi it can get a bit jittery. That said, the car rolls on medyo mas malaki yung wheels niya. It gets 16-inch wheels all around, and it comes with McPherson strut suspension up front and a torsion beam at the rear. Now, for ergonomics and for driving position, this is where you will really medyo feel the compact dimensions of the BYD Seagull, no? The steering wheel does not telescope, it just adjusts up and down. And the seats, you can adjust forward and back, and also actually just forward and back, wala siyang height adjustment. So that's something worth noting. Like if you are on the taller side or if you are on the shorter side, you might be a bit low on the seat or too high. So you might have to, if you're gonna buy this car and you're medyo mas patangkad ka, you might want to test drive or head over to your BYD dealership and sit inside first before you commit to the purchase. That being said, the seats are nice, the bolstering is good. Actually, medyo sporty nga yung dating ng seats niya kasi mukha nga siyang racing seat. Mukha nga siyang, actually looks like a Recaro racing seat from afar. And when you sit on it, medyo tight yung bolsters niya here on the side. Granted, I'm not really a slim person, but I'm not that big either. It's comfortable, it's bolstered, and it's almost sporty actually. Okay, when it comes to technology naman, so of course BYD sits at the very top when it comes to tech. And this car is no exception. So you get this amazing rotating touchscreen display here in the middle. And so right now I have my Apple CarPlay enabled. So it won't allow me to rotate the screen right now. That said, the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto are wireless. So wala ka nang gagawin. Ilalapag mo lang yung phone mo dito sa wherever. Keep it in your pocket or put it here on the wireless charger and pair it with the infotainment system for you to activate Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So very easy to use. So the BYD Seagull, it is a small and entry-level electric vehicle, pero meron siyang mga drive modes that you'd actually expect more from expensive and more premium models. No? So like for instance, right now we are in eco mode. So of course, as the name suggests, eco mode prioritizes efficient driving and it makes you have more battery for a longer period of time. Pero if you find that a bit boring, you can just press this button here. So pushing it will put you into sport mode, and right off the bat, the response gets a little bit sharper. And it's not sports car, it's not hot hatch levels. Pero it's enough to medyo magugulat ka na it pulls you back a bit like that, see? So that's sport mode for you. I guess it also increases the regen. So mas malakas ng konti yung kanyang engine braking, which is nice if you're driving in the mountains and a twisty road. So let's say you're going to Tagaytay, you're going up and down twisty roads. You don't really have to step on the brake so much because the regen is a little bit more aggressive in sport mode. So other than sport mode, you get, just two modes, sport and eco mode. So now we are back on eco mode. Mas relaxed yung driving style. And it coasts a bit more, so you don't really have to keep your foot on the accelerator. That's perfect more for city driving or cruising on the highway where you really want to hypermile or get the most mileage out of the car's battery. Maliit yung kotse na to. It gets 16-inch wheels all around, and at least it also gets 4-wheel disc brakes. So that's something that's very useful. It provides a lot of confidence when you're driving that na kaya niya huminto when necessary. So I would say that the brake response of the BYD Seagull is average. It's not very sharp, but it's by no means dull at all. It responds the moment you bite, pero hindi siya aggressive na bite like what you would expect from more expensive, more performance-focused hatchbacks. Wow, what a fun little car. So there you have it, guys. That was our quick first ride review of this adorable BYD Seagull. So now it's time for us to talk about the overall ratings. So let's start with performance. 135 Newton meters of torque is a lot for a car this small, and 75 horsepower is also more than enough. Response is great. Sport mode is a lot of fun. So performance alone, I'm gonna give this car a 9 out of 10. It's fun car. Handling wise, it's a bit wallowy. The tires could have been a bit better. It kind of breaks traction a bit easier, and I think that's largely to do because of its weight. So the batteries which are housed on the floor, it's using BYD's Blade battery, so medyo malaki talaga siya. It makes the car understeer a bit, and that's okay because it is a city car. That said, if you're gonna take it to the twisty roads for a fun time driving, you might have to brake a bit earlier. So because of that, I'm gonna give handling an 8 out of 10. Still not bad at all. So moving on to utility. Utility-wise, the BYD Seagull, it's surprisingly spacious inside, as I showed you a while ago, despite its very short and compact dimensions. No, you can easily sit 4 people, and you can put lots of stuff in the cargo bay. Simply because of that, and because of how accessible this car is, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for utility. Styling-wise, I like this futuristic look. It reminds me of Pikachu, one of my favorite Pokemon characters. No, it's cute, it's adorable. A lot of people are gonna go up to you and say, "Wow, ang cute ng kotse mo, anong kotse yan?" So styling-wise, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me for this car. Okay, next we go to value for money, and this is where I'm gonna have to knock a few points from this car because at 898,000, guys, 898K. For a car this size, it's a bit expensive. We've reviewed other cars in the past. It was a similar color as this. It was priced a few $100,000 less. So because of that, medyo mahal siya for what it is. But it's nice. Not gonna say it's not nice, but it's a bit more expensive. Give it a 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to value for money. Okay, now finally we move on to our overall rating. So the BYD Seagull is a fun car to drive. It's easy to own. It is fairly affordable, but for its class, it's a bit expensive. So overall, I'm gonna give this car a solid 9 out of 10. So if you're looking for your first EV or maybe a second car to drive on the daily and to be very efficient with it, to have fun driving and make it easy to drive and park in a congested city environment, this could be the perfect car for you. So that's all we have for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Okay, so now this car also has what we call V2L or vehicle to load capability. Although hindi siya built-in standard sa kotse, it has an adapter which I believe it either comes standard or you can buy it as an accessory. It's this thing right here. So all you have to do is to plug it into the charging port, and meron siyang parang mga household type sockets that you can just plug whatever device you want to power up. In this case, I'm gonna power up my Mac. So let me demonstrate how that works. Simply open the charging port by tapping here and it opens. remove the protective cover of the adapter, remove this part over here, and simply plug. And then there's gonna be a button here for a switch, which you can power on. Yan, okay, it's on. Power on. And then, it's as simple as working from anywhere with this car. So I have my laptop is charging. Life is good, and I can just work.